Hey everyone, welcome to the Do the Thing podcast. This is your host, Stacey Lauren. Well, you guys, this is exciting because I got connected to my next guest through a new friend, actually. And she is someone that is doing really amazing things. We had an opportunity to get on a Zoom to connect and learn about what we're doing in ways that we could collaborate. And I pretty much was like, okay, we have got to do a podcast interview because I have got to get your story on the Do the Thing podcast because you have the literally massive Do the Thing story. And so I can't wait to get to know her better. I can't wait to introduce her to you so you can learn about her as well. And yeah, we get to see what unfolds in this episode. So I am welcoming Deborah to the show. Hey, Deborah.
Hey, Stacey, thank you for having me here. I love it. It's an honor, first of all, to be invited to share into someone else's world because that's important. And I love the title. I loved our getting together, and I'm super jealous of your hair.
So good. Thank you so much. And it started, I feel like we have to start here. It started
Okay.
with just even today has been fun because it's so fun when you have things in common with people and you could tell you're already aligned in really powerful ways. And it started with me complimenting your dress. And then you were telling me a story of goddess circles that you do with your friends. Can we start there and just talk about that?
Yeah, isn't it funny how, and it's very common, and I think it's just cool. I think it's a sisterly gold thread through all of us. It's like, I love your dress. Oh, let me tell you where I got it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's such the culture. But yeah, you were complimenting on my dress, and thank you very much because I had a different purple one on, and then I'm like, no, it's Stacey. It needs to be a little bit more flowy and not uptight. So I felt like wearing my Janis Joplin t-shirt. But when you complimented me, I said, well, look, there's my girlfriend who she started it off with just wanting to thank some people in her life that helped her kick off her business. And my son's 22, and this started when I was pregnant with my son. Anyways, so it's so interesting how it's evolved, but she got all her gal pals together. We all got to meet each other. It was kind of what I said, a wine gossip giggles game. That's the kind of thing, right? Like we gossip with each other, like what's going on in your life? There was always lots of bottles of wine. And also she'd make us play this game, right? And she'd call it a goddess circle. I'm like, play games at goddess circles. I mean, she'd pull the funkiest stuff out and you'd have to do the weirdest things. And you'd make you laugh. But we all brought our clothes, our jewelry, our shoes, our purses, and our books that we no longer used.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be this inner circle, right? Like, oh my gosh, you got to try this on it, try this on. And of course, all the clothes that were left over went to a really cool women's shelter. But it was just this continuum. It has been over 20 years. We all still get together. We laugh because less wine for some people, no wine for some people, and more wine for others, right?
I love it.
It's just this really evening of being bodacious. And it's the goddess circle, right? It's kind of like this little, thing. And you can, I'm always bringing somebody. And yeah, it's just, honestly, it's the best shopping ever. It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah. Well, and I love it. I love starting here because one of the things I'm really passionate about is the thing I did my TEDx talk on. It's the stem of the Do the Thing formula, which is the concept of my people, which is being around people that have the same goal as you. And this is something I've been doing now for many years is hosting these parties. They're called now they have a name. They're called My People Parties. And they're basically there's just a goal for the party, right? And you guys have
Yeah.
the goal of being able to connect and have fun and then also exchange clothes and shoes and all this stuff. And you're also connecting it to another cause because I love the fact that if other things are left over, then you get to donate them. And so
Yeah.
you're basically also, which is going to be my next new thing, is helping people do these events with a cause. And so anyway, it just felt really aligned. And then we started talking about the 2 Hour Cocktail Party, and I met Nick Gray. We did a challenge together, and then maybe just share kind of you were like, oh, that's actually really cool. That might be something I want to do too.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. Well, when you said cocktail, it's interesting because for those that know me, I come from a long line of I listen to too much music. I should go to a 12-step program, but I'm not going to. And so I do lots for the music industry and love music. And so when you said cocktail party, because I do some, we call it the backstage pass. I do some private teachings, particularly in building business. and we call it the backstage pass. And we have floor seats, and we have backstage, and we have general seating. And so obviously different people come in at different things for different needs. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'd love to call, I don't want to take his name because I just totally respect when people have their creative, right? But I'm like, man, like the 2 hour martini party, or the 2 hour, like this kind of, when we get together at the very end and celebrate, you know what I mean? It's like, man, it could be the 2 hour martini party, or, because there's so many things to do with that. And I think it gives people a sense of it's going to be fun, even if you don't drink martinis, it gives people a sense of community just with the name of it, right? Like people are really, they get excited about that, are going to go there, and everyone knows they get excited, but there's just something really sparkly about that.
And it's funny. So I'll tell you more. So he also has this website where he posts, you send him your party that you did based on his book, and then he posts it on his website. And it's really fun. He's got an amazing audience of people, and he's doing a lot of really amazing, like really cool stuff. And he's just a really cool guy. And so with this 2 hour cocktail party model, I've been able to now do a 2 hour cocktail party, improv style party, a 2 hour cocktail party, auction party. And so I always that's where my auctions got started, was actually from a 2 hour cocktail party. And at the party, I've always got his book out. People end up buying it, from there. And then he adds my party to his website. I don't know. It's just really fun. But that also is a type of my people party, because now we're gathering people, and then he has a specific structure, a specific format that he does. And so I love spreading the message of his book, because I feel like he helps people also get out of their head of what we think we need to have, and all the junk that we think we need to be able to like host parties. And we don't. We can just, like he says, he's like, just have a cheese board, and like get some seltzer water. It doesn't have to be anything crazy,
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's about the community and getting together. And I think, like, for us, when we get together, and I used to do that in my house, and I always said it's really interesting. And I mean, I don't want to age myself like I'm, looking at the last sunshine or something. But I remember when I was younger, now my mom had, brothers and sisters. There wasn't a lot of them. There was 5, but that was all my aunts and uncles. And we used to get together, and we used to play crib. I was just talking to a friend. I said, hey, I'll make you dinner. And because he's like, let's go for dinner. I'm like, I'll just make you dinner. And I thought, oh God, I put myself into it. But I'm like, do you play crib? You know what I mean? And I think that it's not common. Like, I always say, like, I invite people over, but I don't really get invited anymore. Like, I don't think people get together anymore. And I don't think, recent years of individualism and relationship to, like, everything that we've come through and things that have changed, and, starting businesses and all these things that require some solo energy, like some solo function, like, no one's going to do it but you. So get that, get that business, get that project, get that book out. I think that there's not a lot of people that get together in home. In home. So, I mean, I don't know where all the events go, but I mean, even still, I think there's something really cool about having people in your house. And so my girlfriend hosts at her house. So we all go, and it just gets so much better each time that you go. And a lot of the times we don't talk to each other the 6 months in between.
Yeah.
Like, she's the post, right? That we all know, but we meet 6 months, and it's like, hey girl, like we hung out last weekend. So I don't know. I think there's something really very missing about that I think fills the heart.
I love it. No, it's so good. It makes me think, I know someone actually in town that she keeps telling me she has all these shoes that she wants to use for one of my auctions. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's perfect. Bring your shoes. Let's have a goddess. What's it called? Goddess circle.
Yeah, absolutely. Goddess circle. I know I always talk, it's kind of like, and when people think goddess circle, they probably think we're meditating, but we're not.
Yeah.
We're getting dressed, and we always, and if you like what you wear, you just keep it on for the rest of the night. You put your clothes that you wore in your bag. And then she comes with these really cool games. And the games lean into things like, last time she did something around the 4 agreements, or Christmas time, she's got these Christmas games. And they're very fun, but they lean into, I would say, like emotional intelligence or something like that.
Yeah, so good. And it's such a great way. I love structured networking also, because I'm a natural introvert. And when you can like bring people together and you have a way to like bring out different parts of them and express, it's so great. And so I'm just going to put a pin in this, because I want to like have your friend, have her write the book about the Goddess Circle. And then We'll all do Goddess Circles Around the World and we'll have her book in it.
Very
There you go.
cool. Very
So
cool.
if you're listening,
Yeah.
putting that out there. Okay, now I'm so excited. Now this just, I mean, I think this beginning part, it really says who you are, right? Like it's like that's the beginning of like you want to gather, you want to be a part of these community and these connection. And I think that's what we like, that's one of the things I strive for with Do the Thing is really highlighting people that are doing that because like you said, it's not happening as much now and we're going to need it more than ever, you know? And so
Mhm.
anyway, so thanks for taking the time to go through that. But I'd love to hear and for the listeners, like your story and think about like just like this, the power of you and what you're doing with doing the thing and how you're helping others also do the thing too.
Right. So thank you for that. It's interesting because like the first thing I think of was like, tell us your story. I'm like, wow, I could go down so
I
many
know.
roads, right? I've been an entrepreneur for, some serious digits. And I would assume that the project that you're talking about probably is this big women's project
Mhm.
that's going on. Yeah, you want to talk about that? Okay. So I've been entrepreneuring for a long time. I always talk about how my son is 22 and he's in his first 2 years of his company. Like as if it never, honestly, like as if it never happened. But I realized I started my first company in my 20s. Now
Mhm.
he started at 15, so he kind of, I had 10 years on him, I guess. And I've always been someone that I think it's my dharma, if you understand that, or it's my calling.
Mhm.
Put it this way, Stacey, my next book is hashtag God pick on somebody else
Mhm.
because I get these really clear, non-negotiable, some people call them downloads. I call them non-negotiables that you just know, like you just know that you're supposed to do that. And it's always been in ways of serving. So whether it was in the music, from music, it was into holistic health, right? It's so funny. People go, my girlfriend's like, you went from AC/DC to Enya.
Mhm.
And it's true. It's true. But then came this big project. And really, it started with me waking up one day and hearing the word start a podcast. Now, that wouldn't have been so shocking if it was today or even a couple of years ago. But at the time, I was traveling around the world teaching brain health, talking about compounds. I'm a formulator. And I was opening up countries for a company that had had these incredible accidental discoveries in the lab that were helping and healing and curing people. I had been a top performance trainer. I was teaching, I was coaching. I'd been helping entrepreneurs for 20 years, right? Before coaching was really like lifted like it is now, on how to have a sustainable business. And I've always been very much, I met Gloria Steinem through writings and readings in my 20s. And I've always been someone that's been in love with the fairness of life. Like it's got to feel fair. It's got to be fair, right? And not when your kids say that's not fair, because that's a different response. But right,
Mhm.
but there's just got to be. For me, I think that's why I've been such a strong member of Amnesty International for a long time. There's just this equality to life that I think should be there. So, anyways, long story short, I'm 31 years old. I'm in a bookstore. I'm deep in holistic healthcare. Okay, nothing close to media. And I go to get my Women's Day book, my day planner for the next year, because that's what you do. And they told me it was out of print. And I didn't get this big download or the lights didn't flash. I just said to myself in my, I guess, non negotiable way, well, I'm just going to do one of these one day, right? Because I was 30 and I was all that. Never gave it a second thought, truly. And then as I started to hit a lot of accolades and get some recognition for my work, I had been listed in Success Magazine 48 times. Your phone rings and it's insane because people want to know how you got there and how you did it. And I could not, I had like a growth problem, I guess, right? And so what I did is I created a planner and put my whole, like how I live my life and how I do my business and everything in the planner. And that was really like the drive to the planner. But I always wanted the planner that I went to go buy at that bookstore that day was the Women's Day book. And it had these beautiful black and white pictures of these women by women photographer. And honestly, that was my favorite part of the book, you know? So,
Mhm.
so that was kind of like, just think that was all the brewing of the background, because I think some things when you examine them, there's things that are predecessors to like the final movement of you wake
Mhm.
up one day and you hear start a podcast. So I had already started in this kind of publication way. I hear start a podcast. I'm traveling around the world talking about brain health. I'm number one out of 10 countries out of 200,000 people. dude, I'm doing the thing. You know what I mean? I'm doing the thing. It wasn't like, ooh, I'm not doing the thing. I'm like doing
Yeah.
the thing. I'm helping people. I'm healing people. I'm
Mhm.
helping people build companies and businesses. And like, I'm maxed. Like, ooh, this single mom of two kids. You know what I mean? Peace out. I
Yeah.
hear start a podcast. And so I don't know what people's relationship is with their spiritual inspiration, but I'm like, dude, I'm like, dude, not happening, you know?
Mhm.
Anyways, I literally got a call from a colleague, and literally colleague, like we weren't pals, friends. And she's
Yeah.
like, your name came to mind. I just got this download. And she's very spiritually minded, and that's her business. And she said, I got this download that I'm supposed to do an anthology. And no one knew what I'm like, what's an anthology? She didn't know, had to Google it. No one I'd known had put a book together of people, and neither her, and we'd never, it's very different today. So she said, and I got a feeling I had to call you. I was like, of course you did. Anyways, that was the beginning of what my company is now called, which is Mission Accepted Media. And so this whole project is based on the fact that I had been in media for a while, like when I got the non-negotiable for this group that you're talking about, right? Because it's really
Mhm.
become unforeseen and quite vast. So anyways, I was doing publications, and what people were coming to me for, where they were like, I want to do a book, but I want to do a book because I want to talk about my coaching or my message or my healing. And a lot of times they wanted to have a book with people that were collegial, like in the same industry. And so I did. I produced lots and lots and lots of those books, lots of anthologies. And the story, happens. So I had that, book experience. I had to start a podcast. When I decided to take up the offer of starting a podcast, and I'm like, well, there's only one podcast that I want to do. I had that point almost 30 years helping self-funded people become sustainable. Like that was it. I gig entrepreneurship. I am one. I've built businesses. I love it. To me, it's a very much like a canvas and art, and it's creative, and that's all that stuff. So I go, okay, I'm going to do the whole business around helping people that are self-funded. Okay. This was prior to the world shifting and prior to the explosion of entrepreneurship, right? So it was really good because not everyone had a lot of resources. Anyway, this is all happening. I wake up one morning. I'm supposed to go meet my girlfriend, Tammy, to go for a walk. This is about 4 years ago now. Yeah, 4 years ago. And I'm walking across the bridge, and I heard the words, it's time. My body jolted. The first four things that I heard was, do a marathon, do it in Ireland, give the money to the music industry, Amnesty International. Half
Wow.
Irish. I know Ireland, been there many times. I hadn't done a marathon in 19 years. I'm like, no, thank you. And, of course, music, all that kind of stuff. So it all made sense, but was completely illogical because it was in those, we weren't allowed to even walk with more than one person. Like this was in the time where our world health crisis was at that peak. And I was like, I don't want to do a marathon. Like, are you kidding? Like, so anyway, I started to put that into traction, and that was all good. And that's happening and was happening and all of that. About 30 days later, I just grabbed my phone. My phone's always here. I was sitting in this very chair, and I grabbed my phone and I called my publicist and my compiler because we just finished doing a group book, a gathering, an anthology of 22 women and 5 couples. And it hit 140 million media impressions, and everyone was freaking out. And we were freaking out. We were so excited. So I called her and I go, guess what? She goes, what? I go, it's time. I go, that women's book I've been talking about? She goes, hallelujah. And who doesn't? So I said, it's time. She goes, okay, how many people do you want? How many women do you want on this book? I'm like, I don't know. I'll meditate tonight. Just think, I spent 20 years in a holistic health business, right? Yeah. So I said, I'll meditate tonight. I did. Then the number 262 came to me. I said no for 3 days. Like literally, like, dude, figure it out. And then it came across the phone when I was texting, and I decided to go for it. So we created a book of gumption of 262 women. We created a project for women and those that support women. And a year into the project, as I'm talking to cool women like yourself, I said, this book is the legacy. I had built 7 companies, and every company had the same mission statement: to help women and men stand up, speak up, and show up in their business and personal lives. And that came to me in my 20s. So I said to my compiler, I said, this is the book. We literally have stand up, speak up, and show up. I said, it's a full cover spread. And anyways, that book has just finished its 3rd revision. It's been on the market for a year and a half. It's had 5 million media impressions. A year into the project, Stacey, I won't tell you the whole story because we're on a podcast, but I'll just say I got another clear non-negotiable that I needed to create. I mean, I was already creating this book, but I was told to create an accessible and global project for women, and that International Women's Day become a Facebook posting day. And we need to get women to honor it the way a mom does Mother's Day. And no offense to anyone out there that rock and rolls your International Women's Day, because I know you're there. So that's when the summits came into play. So I thought if I did a summit on the 8th day of every single month, and from International Women's Day to Mother's Day, there's 8 weeks. How ironic. I said, okay, we did 22 summits in 15 months. 440 speakers spoke. Over 6,000 women showed up from around the world. We did it for free. Anyone could come to these summits. We had at least 3 celebrities on each summit, and it has now exploded into over 1,200 women on stages and pages. And I just told you yesterday, just in January alone, we had 8 million media impressions from a press release, and we've been to the Oscars and the Emmys gifting this book and the movement, and it's gone from a book to speaking to we launched the Women's Channel last year. So it is a very an unforeseen, full-on, vibrant project that if you had told me that I was going into entrepreneurship, I was just looking to start a massage company. Like it just started with me in my bedroom, not my bedroom, but a bedroom in my home. I started my practice in my home. I was pregnant with my daughter, and here we are. It's been a bit of time in between. But that's the story. And I know I took probably too long on a podcast to tell that story, but I don't know what part I could have left out.
No, it's so good. And when is your book coming out, by the way?
Okay, so the book, I'm going to show you. So here's the thing. The book launched on Mother's Day 2024. This is the 262 women. My son, who's an artist, did the book. Aww. This is the only color in the book. And it's a full page spread on what a woman does on one page. And then who are you? And then what do you do? And why do you do it? And then it's not not a big brochure, right? The pictures are black and white. They're an activity. And so we just finished our 3rd revision. Sorry. It's going around the world for 5 years. It'll wrap up in 2028. And we're literally deciding right now whether to do 262.20.
Wow. What was it like for the women when they got to see them in the book? Was that really like mind blowing? Like in terms of especially all being together in one place? I feel like that would be really powerful.
Oh, it is. And we do book launches because we're Africa to Canada. So we have these summits, right? We do 4 summits a year still to this day. And it's open to any woman that has a message or a mission or authors, coaches, everyone loves us to share the word. So those are still active to this day. We do 220 speaking spots. We're so right now, we're booked all the way up till May. So we're adding 2 more summits this year because why not? But why not? The team's grown from 4 to 12 people. But when women get together, I can tell you, so we do these book launches and women get together, and even other women, because we do speaking and stuff when we do book launches. It's incredible. It's incredible. It's very sisterly. There's this huge community behind the curtain. They call themselves the Sustainable Soulpreneur Sisterhood. And because the methodology is around International Women's Day, it's one step beyond collaboration. It's like, we know when we do something, we're doing it for each other, but there's this third, like Napoleon Hill talks about, this third brain, and it's this third message to what we're doing. So that some women anywhere in the world, and honestly, it could be your neighbor that just got wiped out in something. Like, it doesn't have to be the obvious first thought, but I'll tell you, when the women so we do the Oscars and Emmys, Mariana Gifting Suite. There's gifting suites around those events. And so we feel like we're the one that's, cool. And celebrities are coming up, and they're signing the book, and they're taking the book, and they're telling us their story.
Wow.
Men and women. Men and women, to the point where on our next summit in May, we're having 2 panels of men of inspiration that have been inspired by women. Because I think it's important. Our project is for women and those that support women. It's important for everyone to know what everyone's doing. So I'm super excited. It's the first summit out of 30 summits that we've done, that we will have panels of men talking about the women that have inspired them. Like, these are directors and actors and singers and people that people know.
Yeah.
And right. So it's really incredible when women get together or they're signing their book and giving it to, Leslie Capps. She's an incredible woman. So she was like, oh my God, he's there from Sex and the City. And I can't remember who it was that she was like, crushing on. And so she wrote her signature. Like that was a magical moment for her.
Yeah.
Like it's a magical moment to know that we're all same, first of all, like
Yeah.
truly.
Isn't it that's like to me has been, I think one of the most powerful things about doing what I'm doing with Do the Thing is I've been
Yep.
interviewing people on the podcast. I did a bunch of interviews like on the street, like around the world in like different languages and realizing that like we are literally like all the same on the inside. We all have like the same goals, the same dreams, the same fears,
Yep.
and like even Oprah, right? Like I don't know Oprah yet, but like I imagine she goes through the same exact thing, right? But then maybe she has a shorter amount of time in like when she might spin or whatever we might do, right? To like
Yeah.
kind of like it's like hers is shorter. So it's like we all have the same stuff essentially.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's shorter, and I love how you said yeah. So I think it's shorter because she's been doing it longer, more
Yeah.
words. I think the more you put yourself out there, the first page of the book, when we did the second edition, Dorothea, this goddess that works for us, she said, when we do the first run just of this one, because it's over, 560 pages, right? So, something like that. She goes, do you want to just put a page in there? She goes, what would you want to say? I said 3 words. I said, bravery is love. Like
Mm.
bravery is love. And so when I think of someone like Oprah or someone who's like, look at all the stages of bravery that she's had to go to
Oh yeah.
internally and externally. And I'm completely blown away that you traveled around the world and that you were talking to people in languages. I mean, unless you are, you can speak all the languages. I think that's incredible.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, we did. I went with my daughter actually, and she was the one recording the video. And the first time we did it was in France, and we had it like interpreted in French, so then we could do it. But we ended up not needing it. We used people like on that knew both, and we were able to leverage it that way. And it was really fun. But yeah, it's amazing. I'd love to also like. There's so much here. I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay. So I really want to get into your other book also because I like, are you going to have a podcast for that book? God, pick on someone else.
Yeah. Well, first, we're compiling a book that I'm completing this year. It's a business book. And I think the hashtag God pick on somebody else is in its final, like I'm starting to talk about it. You know what I mean? When you start to talk about it,
Yeah.
there's a book that I'm formulating before that. I think that's important before this becomes I don't know, not the grand finale because I'm not going anywhere, but do you know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like
totally.
I think there's a piece that's going to happen before that's completed. I think I'm living the book right now. And in our podcast, right, it's very like, there's a little bit of an edge to it. And we've just decided to take one, like every so often, I'm going to do this solo show of
Mm,
like because we're obviously entrepreneurial based. So it's just the hashtag pick on somebody. I said we're gonna do
yeah.
like that crazy entrepreneurial, like we have to laugh, we have to make jokes. It's gonna be, I said to my producer, I said, okay, I kind of want to tagline it. If you've never eaten out of a jar of peanut butter over the kitchen sink, you haven't been entrepreneuring long enough. I go,
Oh,
that's the
yeah.
stuff, right? We just, that
So
kind of
good.
thing. Hashtag God pick on somebody else. It's like the stuff that you end up doing and the
Yeah.
stuff that ends up happening and the stretch. I don't say the word journey like, oh, it's been a journey. I'm like, honey, a journey is from one pub to another pub in Ireland getting a nice cold Guinness. What we do is the stretch, right? Talking about,
Yeah. I love
but
that.
yeah,
So a friend
yeah,
of mine, she is a nonprofit actually, and she's amazing, and she just is her new. I don't know if it's going to be a book, but it's definitely a website she just bought, which is like you can't make this shit up.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
feel
yeah,
like you guys will like play on each other because I like have so many of those like hashtag God pick on someone else stories, and I like
yeah,
where I like get so annoyed, because I'm like, no, I don't want to do this. And so even the
yeah,
fact of like what I'm doing now, where I'm doing these auctions, like I basically am an auctioneer now. So when the person that like wanted to mentor me to become an auctioneer, I was just doing it for fun. I wasn't planning on it being anything. And then once it started realizing, oh, I could raise $1 billion for impact using this auctioneering, thing. I'm like, no, I'm tired. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to do it. And like, I still like, I'm still in the build phase. So I'm still like fighting it every step of the way. But I totally, my point is I complete resonate to this message 100%.
I know. I can't wait to have you on our show and dig into that. And I can't wait to just even to dig into that more. You know, when you meet somebody and you vibe, and so you're kind of like getting like the peripheral stuff out of the way. Like, what do you do? I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you do? Where are you from? Blah blah blah. And then you're like, okay, we need to have a second meeting because we need to now to get to know each other, right? Like
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. And I have such respect for what you do because I got thrown at a gala, their auctioneer person couldn't make it. And we actually just talked about that. They're like, Deb, you want to do the live auction? I was like, yeah, sure. Right. And so thank God all your ears kicks in and you can make a few laughs on stage. But I think and it's really interesting in terms of, because when people get the download, there's something when you think it comes from the other side or it's your path or your passion, that there is an assumption, and I think it's fair. I think it's a fair assumption that if it comes from such a beautiful place of inspiration, that it should be easy. But there's times for sure, if it's someone that I was like, if you don't wake up kind of tired sometimes, or if you don't
Yeah.
have that lonely conversation in your head late at night going, is this what I was supposed to do? Like, then you're probably not being stretched enough. But I think not enough people talk about that
Yeah. No, for sure.
or
Okay.
get honest about it.
I have to show you one thing and then
Yeah. Show me.
yeah, so I'll show you one thing because I love hearing people's reflections on it, and you are doing this right now. And so I don't think I had a chance to show you this yet, but this is
Ooh, no. I love that. Oh my gosh, look at that. It's the year of the horse.
yeah, so this is basically, oh, right. Yeah, this is basically what I've discovered after all the interviews, after I run these community engagement challenges and really get people into action around a message and using what I call a comfort circle. So everything's outside of our comfort zone. But when you know your comfort circle, now you could really go. And so I'll just give you high level, but basically, we're made up of the horse where we're not ready to tell our story yet. We don't even know we have a story yet. We're still dealing with the pain of it, right? Now we're finding our voice. Maybe even finding your voice could be asking for help, right? Or figuring out who I am, what I want. Then we're sharing our voice, which is the podcast, the speaking, the summit, then monetizing, which that's where the auction model was created because now it's an easy way for people to monetize. And so creating a movement, global reach. And then at each level that we grow, we're finding our voice again. Because at every level, we're like, wait, am I doing this? Who am I to do this? And it's kind of like going through that. And so, and this is also how like movements are created as well. But anyway, without getting too much into that psychology,
No. I
but
love
yeah,
that. I think it's important. I
yeah,
was on a podcast. I was on a podcast last night at 7 p.m. to support young women in entrepreneurship, right? And you can tell, you're getting interviewed and they're hungry, right? They're hungry,
yeah,
they need information. And so I said, so fair warning, you're asking me all these questions about what it's like to build. I want to make sure that there's someone out there listening that you are back at the foundation every time you decide to go big. I call it rice and peas, steak and lobster,
yeah,
right? Oh,
so
I
good.
bought a TV channel, wasn't in the bank account, wasn't in the idea, wasn't in the plan. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I'm like, okay, family, rice and peas, and then you build. And so I said, there is foundational stages. And for some people like us, we don't feel like we can say no. People can say no when they get
Yeah.
there. But it's how can I say it? It's just real. It's just
Yeah.
real.
I love that. So yeah, you just help. That's what I like showing it because it helps me see words for like people's
Yeah.
reflections. But you're right. At everything we're like building and everything we've gone through, we start at the horse again, and which is the
Mm-hmm.
foundation, of like who we are and having to like start over again in a really powerful way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Different
good.
goblins, I call them. Different goblins.
Yeah. Have you noticed, so since you're helping women with speaking and entrepreneurship and that monetize your voice circle, is there like something you have done that you've figured out like this really helps them just be able to, whether it's make money, raise money, whatever that,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it's the differentiator that we brought in that I think is a fundamental differentiator. So for
Hmm.
me, like I was sharing with you, we had this big, news last night about these great numbers that we hit in our media.
Hmm.
And I felt like with women, and I don't know with men because I'm not building a big, large event for men in relationship to moving up. The whole
Hmm.
idea around this tide rising is one is the community has been a critical piece for hanging in.
Hmm.
Two, I'm talking predominantly to women that never in their business plan had a category for hitting stages, getting on TV, going to Oscars, doing podcasts, being visible, right? If someone had told half the women I talked to you that visibility was going to be a part of your economy, they may not have been so excited. And
Hmm.
so what I find is that most people do like, oh, you can go, anyone's going to tell you do some podcasts, get on stages, do this and do that. I think the piece that made it really critically different is that we stopped and said, okay, if you're going to come on our stage, you're going to go to a speaker training. It's not a get to know your sister, it's to get to know how to monetize from what you're doing. And so
Hmm.
people think, oh, it's really different. So I think it's the how. So I am able to teach how to market your speaking and how to go onto a podcast and what to say when you're on a podcast. And so I think
Hmm.
that women are really versed with what to do. It's just not how to do it. So we build
Hmm.
media plans and people have never heard of that. And let's face it, most entrepreneurs don't have a business plan, right?
Right.
They're like, I don't have time for that. And I'm like, do you have like half an hour? Let's scribble it out. You know what I mean?
I love
And
that.
then they also get confused with their marketing is media. And I said, no, marketing and media are two different things. Media is what
Hmm.
if you want to put what we're doing right now, like on social. Like this is like this, like so there's just a
Yeah.
differentiation between your business plan, your marketing and media. So I think it's really data and information and making people feel educated so they can make educated decisions and they know what they're talking about and they know why they're talking about it. And so I meet with every like when I say there's been 1,200 women, there's been no one go on the stage. There was no application. It was all conversation to
Wow.
make. And I think that has made why it has been the way it is. I think at one point my doctor's like, please stop, because I sat in this chair. I was training for 8 marathons before this started. I couldn't probably run 8 blocks, you
Wow.
know? So,
Amazing.
yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I think what you're making me see is like when we start, we're in the horse mode, right? And then we're finding our voice. And then all of a sudden now we've been helped by whatever we did, that work that we did, right?
Yeah.
With like training programs, mentors, coaches, the whole thing, retreats, all of it. And now it's like, okay, now I've been helped. Now I want to help others because I don't want them to go through the same pain that I've been through. And if one person can be
Mhm.
changed by my story, then I'm going to do it, right? So now that's when we want to go on a podcast or speaking because we want to help the people. But then the
Yeah.
problem is people get stuck there because now they're sharing their message, they're helping all these people, people are coming to them, but now they're not making money because they don't know they've just been overgiving because it feels
Yeah.
so good to be able to help. And so that's where the monetize your voice circle. And it sounds like you have the hack to help people in that circle. So I just wanted to mention that because I'm always looking for people that can help people because it's a mindset also, and it's
Yeah.
also realizing that when you monetize your voice, your story, whatever it is, right? Whether you wrote the book and you're scared to share it and you're scared to like tell people about it because that happens a lot.
Yeah.
Now it's like you can help more people, so like the more you monetize, the more people you can actually impact, which is really important for people to understand.
So touche, like touche. No, it's really important. Like so part of our mandate is to create platforms that help create sustainability.
Hmm.
And if we're looking at the true sense of empowerment, we all take our piece of what empowerment means for us. And a sustainable woman is an empowered woman.
Hmm.
And again, we do lots of things that are co-ed, but I'm just talking about this project in
Yeah.
particular because we're hanging in this project in this conversation. And so for us, we feel that it is an obligation, right? That if we're going
Mhm.
to get you on our stage or get you on our TV or get you whatever, that it is our obligation that we are going to put you on places where you're going to have inbound. It would not be even, I don't know, use the word ethical, but it would be a missing piece for sure. If I didn't teach you that when that inbound comes in, what to do with that. We call it
Mhm.
profit calling. So we have this big class on profit calling so that, because if you say follow up, people get all weird because they have a
Mhm.
history of not following up and blah, blah, blah. So it's like, we're going to bring the world to you, which is what you want, but then you don't know how to convert that into sustainability. So
Yeah.
that piece has been a major piece for people in helping that. And I
So
think it's
good.
our obligation.
Yeah. Right.
It's
Because
what
like
we
that's,
sell, that it's an obligation, right?
yeah, because like we went through it for a reason, and then when you're able to like put something to that by helping others through it, now like there's purpose behind what you've gone through, right? But then if you
Mm-hmm.
can't monetize it, like you said, it's not sustainable because now you're just going to be exhausted and have no reciprocity. There's going to be no energetic exchange, and so
Yeah.
so good. I love that we could we have to dive deeper in this another time because I'm like this is what I love talking about because there's so many people struggling because
Yeah.
everything the circles got created by me helping see people move through the circles. And so
Right.
like this one was like man, that guy, that's where we'll talk about another time, but that's where the $1 billion impact marketplace was created, where I'm giving people a room full of buyers that buy their stuff, but then half the money goes to charity. So it's like I've got the hack now.
Yeah, but that's it,
Yeah.
right? It
Yeah.
fulfills many different things in
Yeah.
someone's psyche, like by nature that need to care for. And then the other thing is it stops the everyone showing up on a networking event and like I'm okay, I'm okay. There is going
Hmm.
to be times by nature, if I could gauge the last however many years I've been working with entrepreneurs, that even the most successful are going to hit a place where, whoa, like there can be a financial challenge at any stage of the business,
Yeah.
right? And there's times where things go on in people's lives that affect, particularly in an entrepreneurial where you don't have sick pay and you don't have holiday pay
Hmm.
and you don't have those things. So there can be things like that. And when you have something that what you've created, which I can't wait to dig into more and even understand more myself, is that
Hmm.
it's beyond, I mean, I think it's elementary to call it win-win. I think it's purpose. I think it's another way of thinking. I don't think people ever thought of that. Thank God for you, because you create another plan or formula or extension of, you know, being reciprocal,
Yeah.
serving. I mean, this is what it has
Yeah.
to be, right? Like, there's times I'm sure, we do a lot of this and help, like staying up till 7 o'clock when my morning started at 7 to help young entrepreneurs, right? Which means it pushed my stuff that I needed to do till midnight. Like we
Yeah.
do things like that. And so we are in the stretch, and how refreshing to experience, a give and a receive, because sometimes it's difficult if someone is used to being a giver to
Right.
receive.
Yeah. We're getting to give to the givers. Yeah. So good. Well,
Yeah.
I would love to hear your number one piece of advice for people on doing the thing.
On doing the thing. Wow, that's big. Number one piece of advice, I would say heighten your intuitive sense. Heighten
Mm.
your intuitive sense. There's probably going to be times, well, there will be times in your life, business, decision-making process where you've gotten all the data and it's going to come back to you. And what I can say after doing this for a number of decades is that a lot of times I have gotten to where I've gotten by putting the cart before the horse. No matter how much research, no matter how much I did, if there was a small voice inside that was like, I think I can, then, pull out the story from when we were kids on I think I can. And I don't know, it's like, follow that. Just follow
Mhm.
that. You don't have to know how you're going to pay for it. You don't have to know how it's going to come together. I just think that if you come to a crossroads, there's decisions that we make in our businesses that by nature, if intuitively charged, serve us,
Mhm.
serve us, right? So I would say heighten your intuitive sense, because sometimes it just comes back to you. Actually, all the time it comes back to you.
I love that. So good. Okay, please share where people can learn more about you and look at all the
Yeah.
things.
Look at all the things. Well, if you're going to do all the things, I have this gorgeous website that has like a contact page where it actually bypasses my team and goes right to me so we can meet right away. It's
Oh,
got all my social handles. So just go to debdrummond.com because it is the place that hosts what I talked about in the Women's Project, coaching. It's got, you can get to know me. And if you want to just contact me, just go to the bottom of the page and send me an email and I'll hook up and say hi.
Wow, amazing. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for coming on. This was absolutely such a privilege getting to interview you and hear your story. So good.
Oh, I like hanging out with you. This is cool. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for letting me into your world. I appreciate that.
Aw. And thanks so much for listening. Do the thing. Don't wait for opportunity. Create it. Hey guys, have you checked out my Facebook group yet? Go to dothethingcollaboration.com.